Welcome. My name is George Pearson and I run the How To Gurus channel here on YouTube. Most of the videos in my channel are short demonstrations of the different tools and techniques you'll find in various software programs. Right now I have several hundred of these quick videos available on YouTube. This video though is different. This is part of a new series of longer demonstrations that I'm doing to show you how to complete complex projects from start to finish using a variety of techniques and tools. All of the images I use in these projects are in the public domain, and I've included a link to the pictures in the video description in case you want to work along using the same images. Okay, let's move on to the project. In this special Photoshop project, we're going to take this picture and change the look of it a little bit here by doing a bit of fancy work on this. We're going to start off by fixing our perspective. Perspective's kind of weird on this one. I'm just going to go over here and let's pull in some guidelines. You can see there that that tower is not exactly straight. Kind of a strange twist on that. And the overall image is kind of crooked as well. So let's see if we can kind of adjust the position in here of our image a little bit, improve that positioning first before I do anything else. So edit, transform. Let's just do a rotate first. I'll just do a slight rotate to get that image lined up across here, get that roof line lined up. That's pretty good. And that actually brings the tower in pretty well as well. So I think we're pretty good at that point. Just a slight twist gives us that a little better alignment on everything. I think it looks a little bit better. Okay, now we need to crop in a little bit here to fix that outer edge, or we could select that and use the really interesting fill option in here, the content fill. So let's see how that works. I'm going to just grab the magic wand. Let's click up here. That should select all four sections, and it does. And we'll do edit, fill, make sure it's set at content aware, and OK. Let's see how it does on that. It may mess up on the car. We'll take a look. Okay, let's see how that did. Let's just deselect. Perfect up there. It looks pretty good down here. It's not quite exactly right. It looks good over here. Car's a little weird. So we can maybe come in and do a little bit of touch up on that, or just simply crop in on this one. Let's zoom in and check what this car looks like. Yeah, the car didn't do that great of a fill on that. Not quite perfect. So I think we'll try cropping in instead. It's always worth trying the content fill to see if it'll do a good job or not. If not, easy enough to simply crop in on the picture. Oh, actually the top's fine. Let me just make sure we're cropped into the side. That's good. And let's come in right there at the bottom edge. Looks good. Let's go ahead and approve that. And then we can come off the crop. Let's get rid of those guidelines. We no longer need those. There we go. Straighten it up. That looks good. Now we want to come in and improve the look, change our look a little bit, give it more of a high dynamic range effect on this, which is making our darks darker and the lights lighter, kind of spreading that out a little bit. And there are a few things you can do for that effect. One thing, we could just come in here and do a basic adjustment layer, use our levels, and come in here and play around with our levels a little bit. Like that, and give it more punch by bringing the levels in, the output settings and so forth. You can make it look a bit better that way. You can see here that's not bad. Definitely an improvement. So levels always work out good. It's a great little tool to learn how to use to really punch up the image. But I'm going to show you something a little trickier than that. That's kind of a simple, straightforward. Let's just do something a little bit more interesting. And while I'm looking at my picture here, I notice that we're seeing a little bit of an edge over there. The content aware fill really didn't fix that edge on the right hand side right there. So I'm going to quickly get rid of that. Clone stamp tool, this one's easy. Just make sure we have a nice good size on this. Hardness at 0. And then just a real fast clone stamp over that. There we go. That just fixes that, and we'll just hide a little bit of that stuff so it looks clean. Okay, I'm happier with that. So now let's see what we can do. I'm going to make a copy of this. Just copy the layer, pull it down here, copy our layer. Here's our copy. We're now going to convert this to black and white. So, image adjustments, and we can do a black and white conversion to find a nice conversion there. Here's our default conversion. Choose OK. So far, so good. Now what this does is it gives me whites and darks. I can increase the contrast of this layer. Edit, adjustment, brightness, contrast. Let me bring up the contrast a bit on that and the brightness. So my whites are whiter and my darks are darker in there. I could have used the levels on this one as well, but I'm just using different tools. You can see some variations. So we have a black and white with nice black blacks, nice white whites in there. Let's now blend these two together, pulling the values from this into our bottom picture. So go up here to our blending modes and scroll down to overlay, and we're going to overlay this on top of that. So here it is. There it is before, and here's that overlay. It's kind of a high dynamic hard lighting effect that we just tossed in there. If it's too much for you, you can back that off by adjusting the opacity level here, so you can choose exactly how much of that effect you want to have in there. It's a great way to really make your blacks and whites punchy by actually using a black and white and blending that into your other picture, your original picture. Okay, now we can have even more of a hard light effect. You want to really go for hard light on this one. Let's take the original image and let's copy that. I'll put that above our black and white. There we go. We're going to blur this out a little bit. Filter and use my all-time favorite blur, which is the Gaussian blur. And just blur that out a bit like that. Let's now mix this into everything else. This time I'll come down here, we'll use a hard light blend, and there we go. It gives it that really stark look, kind of a slight soft glow around the edges of things in there. And that's all done by that Gaussian blur. So here's kind of a real dramatic stark look from what was originally a real basic image. Only thing we did here, of course, is we straightened things out, increased our contrast, and then with the Gaussian blur and hard lighting, we gave it even more of an interesting look. And again, you can control how much of that is happening by controlling the opacity in here of that particular effect. So you can get just the amount of effect that you want. So there's our basic kind of an HDR, high dynamic range, real blacks, real whites look in here with kind of a hard lighting effect. Now you can go further on this if you want to. Let me just show you a little variation in here. Let's make it a lot brighter over here, give it some warmth on this side and some coolness on that side. I'm going to get rid of this little demo layer that we just, that was just a little discussion thing. Let's get rid of that. I'll make a new layer above here. Let's go over and grab kind of a nice orangey orange color in here. There we go, orangey orange color. Grab our paintbrush, make sure it's set on soft. Bring our size up. I want a real large brush here. Kind of like that. I'm going to go right up here, upper left hand corner. I'm just going to click a couple, 3 times in like that to bring that in to that upper left corner. Now we can blend that in with our picture by using our blending modes again. I'm just going to roll down here with my mouse and roll this down, and you can see how we can blend it in. And lighten gives us the effect where it takes things that are dark and lightens those things with that orange color, but it doesn't do anything with the light areas. Anything that's lighter than this color stays as is. That's our white areas. Anything which is darker than this color gets lightened up with that color. Let's do the same kind of idea now on the right side and darken down the right side. We'll put some blue, so we have kind of an orangey over here and a blue over here. Same thing. Make a new layer. Let's choose a more of a blue tone in here. That's pretty good. And again, real large brush. And I'm just going to come in here and do a little bit of that on this side. And this will be too much, so I'll have to back this one off a bit. But again, if we go to our blending modes, and then I'll use the mouse wheel here to roll down a little bit on this. You can see the different effects that we have in here with this blending mode. Color dodge is kind of interesting, but if I just keep on rolling down, there's overlay, and that's giving us some kind of a dark effect. Here's a soft light. That's going to be a little bit better. I think I'll stick with that one. And again, you can adjust the amount in here by adjusting the amount of the opacity. So we have our high contrast look, and we have then pushed that even further by accentuating the brightness or the lightness on the left hand side and the coolness over here on the right hand side using our blending modes. So there you go. There is your kind of HDR hard light effect on this house picture. Thank you for watching this special Photoshop photography project video. Don't forget to subscribe so that you will get first notice of new project videos in the future. Just click on this link right here where it says subscribe here. You can get all 12 project videos in this series along with 26 special videos demonstrating the tools and techniques that I used in these projects by clicking on this link right down here. And then thank you again for watching this training video.